Alfie's Christmas by Shirley Hughes. Soon it would be Christmas time. Alfie's little sister, Annie Rose, was too little to understand about Christmas, but Alfie was thinking about it a lot. He was making decorations and cards to send to friends. He had a calendar to help him count off the days. It had a picture of baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph, and the shepherds and the angel, and the animals and the three kings bringing presents, and the star shining above. They sang songs about it at nursery school. Alfie was helping with the cooking. He made some delicious biscuits in the shape of Christmas trees. All the family went to the market to choose a real Christmas tree. It's got to be just the right size, said Mom. Not too big and not too small. They found one with beautiful spreading branches. Alfie helped Dad to carry it into the living room. It smelled lovely. Then Dad fetched the big box of decorations from the attic. They spent a lot of time arranging them on the tree. When they had finished, they switched on the fairy lights and left the curtains open so that all the people passing by could see it. To wish everyone a happy Christmas, said Mom. Alfie and Dad set out on a special secret shopping expedition to buy Alfie's present for Mom. They spent a long time looking. Dad thought that some nice smelling stuff to put in the bath would be good. But in the end, Alfie chose a beautiful necklace of blue beads. Alfie helped Dad wrap up parcels. As well as Mom's present, there was one for Great-Grandma Hillary, and one for Maureen McNally, who lived across the street and sometimes did babysitting, and Grandma and quite a lot of other people too. Annie Rose liked playing with the shiny wrapping paper. Now the house was full of secrets and packages that you were not allowed to look inside. Look, there's some here, some behind the curtain, some maybe under the bed. There was one thing which was carefully hidden, and that was Alfie's present for Dad. It was a very special flower pot which Alfie had decorated at nursery school. In it was a tiny green shoot which was pushing up through the earth, and soon it would turn into a beautiful spring flower. Mom helped Alfie to make a list of all the presents he wanted. It was quite a long list. Then she helped him write a letter to Father Christmas. Alfie drew a picture of himself to go with it, and they put their address at the top. Then they put it in an envelope with "To Father Christmas" written on it. And Mom helped Alfie post it in the pillar box at the end of their street. Will he get it all right? Alfie wanted to know. Sure to, said Mom. Christmas Eve came at last. As it began to get dark, some carol singers came to their street, and Mom and Alfie stepped outside to join in. Alfie put a little plate of snacks on the hearthrug for Father Christmas in case he felt hungry. He was worried that their fireplace wasn't big enough for Father Christmas and his sack of presents to get through, but Mom said she was sure he'd manage somehow. At bedtime, Alfie hung up his stocking at the end of his bed. Annie Rose had hers on the chair nearby, near her cot. Alfie's oldest, most favorite toy, Flumbo, had a little stocking of his own. After Mom and Dad had tucked them up, Alfie lay awake for a long time because he was so excited. But at last, he fell asleep. When he woke up, he knew it wasn't morning. It was in the middle of the night. He could hear someone moving about in the room. Perhaps it was Father Christmas. Alfie knew that he never left presents until all children were fast asleep. So he screwed up his eyes tight and hid under the duvet. Then he heard something dropping onto the floor. He sat up and peered into the darkness. He could see that his stocking was bulging with surprises, but he knew it was not time to open them yet. Then he saw Annie Rose wide awake. She had managed to get out of her cot and was sitting in the middle of the floor, opening all her presents one by one. Alfie called out and Mom came running. It took a long time before they all managed to settle down to sleep again. Then the next time Alfie woke up, everything was quiet and he knew that Christmas morning had come at last. Annie Rose was still asleep. Alfie opened his stocking presents one by one. He was glad that he had waited till morning to unwrap them. There were some lovely things in there. In Flumbo's stocking was a Father Christmas hat, a car, some sweets, and a tiny notebook and pencil. Now Christmas Day had really begun. Alfie ran downstairs to look at the tree, and there, propped up against it, was a scooter. It was exactly what he wanted. There was a smart helmet to go with it. Annie Rose had a fairy dress with wings. Mom and Dad were very pleased with the presents Alfie gave them. Mom put on her blue beads straight away, and Dad put his plant pot on the windowsill where it would get plenty of sunshine. Soon after breakfast, the McNally family from across the street dropped by to wish them all a happy Christmas. Later, Grandma arrived with Great Uncle Will. He was her brother, and he had come on a visit all the way from his home in Australia. "I'm hoping for snow and lots of it," he said. There was no snow, but the sun had come out. Mom and Grandma set out for church. They took some cakes and sandwiches and some of Alfie's special biscuits to share with people who had no home to go to. While they were out, Alfie and Annie Rose played with their new toys, while Great Uncle Will helped Dad to get the Christmas dinner ready. Then they all sat down to eat together. Afterwards, Annie Rose was tired and cross and she needed a rest. There was another small problem when Alfie and Dad discovered that the remote control of Alfie's new space buggy had no battery. "I'll have to see if I can find one," said Dad. Then Great Uncle Will suggested that perhaps meanwhile he and Alfie might go out and test Alfie's new scooter. When Alfie sped off along the pavement, Great Uncle Will had to run very fast to keep up. On the way home, he told Alfie that in Australia right now it was summertime, and people were swimming in the sea and having barbecues on the beach. He said that there were parrots flying about, and how once he had seen a koala sitting at the top of a gum tree near his backyard. As they walked home, they could see lit Christmas trees shining out of all the windows, and neighbors like the McNallys and the Santos family with their friends and relations, enjoying themselves, eating nice things, and watching television together. When they got home, they found Dad and Grandma on the front doorstep with Annie Rose. She had woken up in a good mood and was waving her fairy wand. Dad had found a new battery. "I like Christmas, don't you, Great Uncle Will?" said Alfie. "You bet," said Great Uncle Will. The end.